In fact, I'm Don Ford. I'm here with the whole Organizing for Better Tomorrow team. The big talk going on right now is ICE and elections and all this sort of stuff. And we are actually watching some election result data from New Jersey right now that has our whole group going, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. So if you're not following elections right now, this is New Jersey special election for District 11, repairing the governor's old seat in the House. So it is a Democratic seat. This will close the gap a little bit more in Congress as well. I feel like if all the seats, which I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat will go to a Democrat, but if it did, it would actually put us within one seat of taking a majority. Right, they're one seat within, and then if Democrats take majority at any point during this cycle at all, they flip the House. They flip the whole thing. And so that's what. So we've been watching. So there's Tom Malinowski, who is a pretty milquetoast Democrat. He was being investigated by the House Ethics Committee over how he did stocks around the COVID pandemic, but he lost his seat over redistricting, and now he's running in District 11. He's not from there, as far as I understand it, so it is a little bit of carpetbagging. But then we got I'm gonna say her name wrong, but it's Analilia. Can someone help me out here? Meha. I know her last name, but I'm not familiar with the spelling. Analilia Meha. She is a activist. She's kind of more on the progressive side of everything in pretty much every way. She ran on a slogan of vote blue, but I always say vote blue, but it matters who. And she ran on a similar byline of you should vote blue, but it shouldn't be just anyone. And we have been watching. So earlier in the race, they declared this for Tom Malinowski because he had a lead in the early polling. And we have been watching the final vote come in. There's still 13,000 votes to count. 81.6% expected votes are in. But she has narrowed a 2,200 point vote lead that Tom had, and now she is within 400 or 365 votes. Usually when you watch these things, you just watch your candidate slowly lose, and in this case we're watching the candidate that we would want to see win, who is not funded by AIPAC, is saying the things we want to see someone say in Congress, and she is Medicare for all the ICE things that we want to hear, and she is closing hard. So we're waiting. Like the last jump went from she was behind I think 1,800 still, and then now she jumped to 600, and then now she is within 365. I mean, Jesse, Terry, when's the last time we see this type of vote counting at the end go the way of the progressive at the end of the vote? I can't remember. Every Democrat that progressive that I've seen win, they win hard, in the beginning, AOC had a really great lead. It's very rarely down to the wire. Usually when it's down to the wire, there'll be some mysterious, the power shuts off and the votes come back and they're like, oh, they lost. Yeah, I've seen that happen more times than I can count. Which is why, by the way, if you are interested, we're going to talk about ICE and elections today, because I feel like that's the big thing everyone is worried about. And I feel like we did a lot of call the other day about all the Epstein files and what's going on with that and all those things. And so if you want to go back and watch that video, feel free. We'll probably dabble in a little bit tonight, but I kind of got into, how it kind of connects a lot of this stuff. And it's a lot of things a lot of other people have said since, so I don't feel like now it's sort of a, when we said it on Monday. We're here on Mondays and Thursdays, by the way, if you're a new listener. You can go back to that if you want to hear more about that. But for right now, I feel like the big concern is ICE and whether or not they're going to be able to put people at polling locations, all this sort of stuff. So we're going to talk about that a whole bunch, because I think the only reason and this is what I'll start with, the only reason they're saying that is because they know fully well that the the Republicans are going to get absolutely, what's the word, plowed? What's the word that I can say here? I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath for Republicans. I mean, yeah, I feel like it's just going to be an absolute mess for them. And I feel like there's something that the Speaker of the House said that really stuck with me. Where it was like, well, when Democrats win, it looks like they cheated, or he said something along those lines. And I feel like they're about to lose so bad, it's gonna look like Democrats cheated. Like they're gonna lose. Right. It turns out their policies are unpopular. Yeah, I know. It's weird. It's... Oh, no. I can fix it. I know what I did wrong. I can fix it. Nope. But luckily, no one else has talked, so just hang on one second. Let's just go ahead and fix this really fast. I know exactly what I didn't do. Apparently, you can't hear the other people. They haven't talked a lot, so it's okay. But we're going to go ahead and fix this really fast. We're using a new system, and I got very excited by everything going on, and oops. Okay, let's try this again. Can we get a testing?
Testing.
Yep, there we go. They should hear you now. So, sorry about that, everyone. You missed the best joke from Jesse.
I can't reenact that one either.
It's basically an illegitimate call until I have all of you in here. This is what it comes down to.
Kind of like the illegitimate ACIP.
Right. We have to pay. We have to put $1 in the illegitimate jar right now. Exactly. So now I'm joined by the rest of my staff, Organizing for a Better Toronto staff. Thank you everyone for being here. Little rocky start to the beginning of the call, but that's okay. I think we're only 6 minutes in. It'll be fine. So let's go back to the question. When's the last time that any of you guys who are on elections saw something actually go the way of the progressive as it is right now in this sort of late count?
I cannot remember a time when that happened.
Yep, it seems like we got a good candidate here.
We got a tie right now.
A tie? She's
in percentage points anyway.
Yeah,
percentage points anyway.
Yeah, it's 29 to 28.3. That's really, really close, especially when she's been pulling in big. That last vote count was from Morris. Where
I'm seeing both 28.6. We got a difference.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Wow, there it is. They're tied up. He is ahead by
34 points.
34 votes, yeah.
Wow. And remaining 11,000 votes to come in?
Oh, well, yeah. 11,000. 15% of the total vote. So, yeah. Wow. This is a wild election. It's interesting because now, you guys said in pre-call, it was Tahisha Wei who was they took the AIPAC money close to the election date, right? That's who got funded really heavily?
Yeah, within the last couple of weeks, they got $2 million, I believe.
Wow. Well, they're the ones that are basically giving... Oh, there she's ahead. She's in the lead.
Nice.
Just like that. Wow. There's screaming going on at their campaign office right now. Wow. She's up 0.1%.
At 0.1.
So, if you don't know, we looked up the laws in New Jersey. There's no automatic recount. The candidate has to request one within 17 days. But if this continues the way it's going, we basically figured that if she pulled in 100 more votes than Tom in every draw from here, then she would win. And then she pulled in 1,000 in one count. We were like, oh my goodness. That's when I was like, I'm a little rushed to get on here on live because... and forgot to do the sound check. But we're here now, and that's what matters. And this is an exciting night. And I feel like in the era we're so afraid of elections being stolen from us, which, I mean, they are saying they're going to try to steal elections, so it's not like the fear is unwarranted. But in light of that, having I think this qualifies as a progressive potential. I don't want to get ahead of myself because shitty things happen. But it would be a potential progressive win, and I feel like that could be really, really important. There's a real fine line between progressivism and leftism, and I've realized kind of what it is in a conversation I had with someone the other day, because they were trying to argue that people should have the right to die, which I agree with. But in this case, they were harvesting the person's
In theory.
organs. What's that? Yeah, in theory,
In
right?
theory.
In theory, right? And the difference is in leftism is they should have the right to die in all cases, no excuses, because that's just how it works. But progressivism is right, but we also live in a corporate oligarchy, and they will use that in awful, terrible ways. So being progressive is like, okay, but how do we plan around what the bad people are going to do so that when we institute a policy, it can't be used to harm people? And I feel like the good example of is this exact topic, and so it's a little dark, but basically it was a face transplant story where the person who gave up their face also did assisted suicide because they don't need their face anymore. And I was trying to explain how that's unethical because you shouldn't take someone's organs so that they can die. Like if they die, then that's okay. But if they die for the purpose of the organs, you're getting into real dark territory. And I realize that's the difference between leftism and progressivism, is that the leftism will allow that thing under any cost, while progressivism is trying to say, no, you have
Wow,
to...
this is news to me, and I'm kind of just sitting with it. Wow.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing that just happened. And they sold it as like, oh, they were so brave. They were so brave to give their face and be a donor for this. And you're like, what? Where?
Let's talk. Who else we can talk into giving me stuff and
exactly.
dying?
It gets really
I
dark.
I'll give lots of money to your family if you.
Right.
Right.
You're a good potential, donor for us. So how would you think about this? We'll give your family some money, and then you can just let go of the material world. And that I was trying to explain. It's like that's not a good position to have because it's going to be used incorrectly.
That's not a system we want to fuel.
No. But a system we do want to fuel is apparently Mija is ahead now by 110 votes. She's 0.2% up with, let's see, 10,000 left to count. So unless Tom has a big push here at the end, if this count continues the way it's been going, we're looking at... It turns out elections do matter, and voting does count. Oh yeah, he just lost more. He just lost more in Morris. She's up through 200, and she's up more. She's up 0.5%. Wow.
9,000 votes remaining now.
Wow. They declared Tom Malinowski the winner at the start of the election. Keep in mind, we started the call with showing a group had already declared him as the winner of this, and this
over an hour ago.
Man. And this just goes to show the importance of activism and getting behind candidates and this is where we're going to be taking our focus as a group. We talked about this. We had a meeting. We discussed it. And we are still working on COVID and vaccine stuff where we can, but there's just, let's be honest, they're not leaving a lot of room. There is an ACIP meeting coming up. We are going to be doing comments for that. They're talking about a lot of things. It looks like they're going to go after mRNA COVID vaccines pretty hard. That's what it seems like is on the agenda. That's the vibe I gotten from what Malone said. Did you read the IgG4 thing that Malone wrote? I don't know if anyone on the call read it, but
no.
I honestly, it's the least. Can I call it crazy? Am I allowed to call something crazy? It was the least unhinged thing. It was a lot of stuff we've talked about on the show beforehand. It was a lot of the IgG4 and how IgG4 works and why IgG4 is actually not good, and how the thing. So I feel like we're going to try to pivot this into a conversation about pediatric Novavax approval. And how the pediatric Novavax approval is taking too long, and if you're gonna take away, you can't, you can screw around with I don't think they should, but they're going to, right? They're gonna screw around with the mandate concept. We've talked a lot about this, where they're gonna screw around with which vaccines are mandated, which technically the government doesn't mandate vaccines. Corporations and insurance companies mandate vaccines. It's a totally different thing. They don't really kind of get how it works. They don't. Well, not kind of. They don't get. They totally don't get how it works. And so they're saying all this stuff. So the thing is, you can't take away the vaccines, and it's actually illegal to, because of the protections the vaccine producers have. So they can't just come in and sweepingly remove vaccine access. But if they are going to have a legitimate reason, they're going to come out, because if they take IgG4 up as the legitimate issue with mRNA, that's a legitimate issue. It's a real problem. It really needs to be. There's a bunch of ways to fix it. It's all about usage. It turns out if you get 2 mRNA, just like the DTaps, you do go into this IgG4 state, which is bad for immunity in all cases. So that's probably where they're headed. And when they go there, for most adults, it's not a problem, because it's just not a problem. It takes multiple vaccinations. It's mostly first exposures. But here's the thing that I feel like is really, really important, is that it comes down to the effectiveness of other childhood vaccines in children. And I don't know that this reality is going to resonate very well with these guys, but because they don't really think childhood vaccination should be a thing, which is just, I mean, it's like, go drink raw milk and just swim in brainworm puddles. But that's kind of their vibe. But the thing is that they do need to keep those accessible for the people who want them, and there is a conversation about using mRNA on kids as their first exposure to COVID. Puts other other childhood vaccines at risk. So we're seeing this measles uptake, and there's a lot of reasons for it. RFK is playing a major role in all these awful policies. But there's also the immune suppression from COVID. There's the things are getting more dangerous in general because they're getting more hosts. But there's also this dark, dark fact that if you got 2 mRNA vaccines as a child and then got your MMR vaccine, there's a chance the MMR vaccine is less effective at protecting you, because we are seeing an uptake in, not uptake, but an increase in people who are vaccinated or partially vaccinated getting measles. Especially the Canada data showed that, because normally it's like 98% of the people who get it are unvaccinated, but now it's like 50-60% who are unvaccinated. That's a scary shift for me, and we could double check that data point, but generally we're seeing there's this risk. So with these guys going into ACIP, I feel like there's like an opportunity here to like take 2 issues and be like, you guys are getting blamed for these measles increases, but here's a good example of a thing that could be making it worse. And if we change the prioritization from Novavax to mRNA, like they should flip it around. Right now we have it, Novavax is just people over 12 and mRNA is for everybody, and mRNA for kids is really complicated. Or it was until they got rid of the Pfizer versions. Moderna's a little simpler. But they should have it the other way around, where Moderna and Pfizer should only be for adults, and Novavax should be for all ages. And that would eventually phase out mRNA for COVID. You wouldn't need them anymore after a couple of years. But people still want it, and they think it's better, so you kind of gotta give them the option. It's the same thing as, like, I know it's better. We explain it's better. We've shown it's better. We have real-world protections that it's better. But people are still very locked into the propaganda messaging, which I feel like the one, is fun little side fact, because of the Epstein files showing how just everything that we hate is like propaganda created by basically one dude, from microtransactions to the entire alt-right to just 4chan and our politics, it just goes on and on. I feel like we can a lot more openly talk about how everything that we experience and feel and think it's a lot more tuned to what we're sold and marketed, which is propaganda, than it is like actual. I don't think that should be like a conspiracy theory anymore. I think we should be a little more like, no, this is really a thing that really happens, and the more you understand it, the less susceptible you are to it. Right? Am I Jesse, you're like the king of avoiding propaganda. So what are your thoughts on this?
If you have the ability to think critically about each thing that happens, but that's hard to,
Whoa, slow down. You lost me at thinking.
That's hard to kind of do. We're trying to be nuanced with our views and the way that we talk about stuff. So hopefully that adds up to something good here.
Right. Yeah. No,
Well, and like we said on Free Call, they flood the zone with so much garbage.
Right.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, Floods the Zone, by the way, is in no way unique to Steve Bannon. This is a thing that is done in general to just make things harder on everyone involved. Because because it's like, for me, I don't have the best sleep schedule because of the whole circadian rhythm being off from my own chronic illness. That's what I'm gonna blame it on. But that's really kind of always been that way. And so like I go to bed really early in the morning, and I wake up kind of late in the day, and I see what's happening in the beginning, and I look at all this stuff, and I go, we really need to do something about this. I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna think about this, and I spend some time thinking about it. I wake up, I kind of literally sleep on it, right? And I'm sleeping on it as fast as I can. And so I then wake up, and it's already 1 million people have made 1 million decisions that are all totally irrational. And the thing is, I feel like when you talk about rational versus irrational decisions, which, I mean, I'm not exactly the king of making rational decisions in all cases, but the thing is that at the end of the day, there are only a few rational decisions. There are tons, there are unlimited, a multiverse of irrational decisions to make. I think she just increased her lead again just now. I think that just happened. Yeah, it's only 8,000 votes counted. So the chances of you getting the rational decision on your first go are incredibly low. I don't know
Right,
why people would
that-
think that they'd get it
That
the first time.
knee-jerk reaction.
Right. And I feel like there's just so much, and I said this on the last call, I just feel like when we're getting our answers from anonymous accounts, I think everyone needs to slow down and take it with a grain of salt. Like, if they're an anonymous account and they're just like a thing, not really a person, and they're telling you how to feel, you need to take a second to have some understanding that that might be part of the propaganda. Even this
And it's
person,
understandable though, because everyone's mad and everyone's rightfully mad.
right?
So it's you get a little piece of information that just kind of like sets you off because you're already at that place.
Very relatable.
Yeah. So maybe you have to take a step back and say, like, is that real? I mean, that's another part of it we talked about before too, is like we spend so much of our time saying, is that real? That is also part of flooding the zone.
Yeah, and the AI's made that harder. There are whole subreddits dedicated to, is this AI or not? And then there are the ones that aren't dedicated to finding out if it's AI that are constantly getting tricked by AI. It's just, there is a thing I read, or I think I just heard it, I don't think I actually was reading it, but I was like, listen to how they said that white children and white people are more susceptible to AI than people of color. Oh, she gained more.
Why?
Yeah, because
Why?
I think it's because of white supremacy, right? I think it's because white people generally have the propaganda go for their benefit, so they haven't had to spend a life to like question how this is going to hurt them. While people of color, the propaganda is not for their benefit, so when something comes out or someone says something, they have more critical thinking about how to think about it.
That makes
That's an
sense.
interesting observation.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents on it.
People who are being screwed over
Yeah, yeah,
are assuming
they're getting screwed over.
I could be being screwed over right now as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what is happening. That's exactly what's happening. They're sitting there going, they're screwing us again. So she is up 400 and, I don't know, 70 votes, 80 something, some 74.
474?
Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, I'm just doing math in
And
my
if-
head. We're not supposed to do
if you wanna
arithmetic,
know-
so-
If you want to know if she's going to be the candidate, which we're hoping, the correct pronunciation would be Anahilia
Anahilia.
Mejia.
Thank you. That's why I just started
Anahilia
saying that.
Mejia.
Okay.
Mejia.
Thank you. I knew I wasn't saying that right. I've seen enough Spanish named streets to be like, I'm gonna say this wrong. I never say Hia for the thing. Sometimes when there's the 2 L's, it's the Y, right? Oh boy. I took Spanish in high school, but like had to rush through it because I wasn't passing.
She wants a national paid sick day guarantee, child care in every community, first, what is it, 40,000 in wages tax free. She wants to break up monopolies, bring back small businesses, Medicare for all, a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah. She's very much she's billed as progressive activist. You know what I mean? She's a progressive activist. She's not even like a city council member or anything like that. She's just progressive activist. That's just a way to sell it. But then again, she might be like an amazing business owner, and they're just underselling her higher too, because that's how the propaganda works. Ugh. But this is a blue district, so she's running on communism. Naturally, is what the Republicans are going to say.
Of course.
It's like she's running on communism, and then you read her her planks, and you're like, I don't know, communism sounds pretty good right now. I mean, I just feel like this is I feel like we really need something like this. 7,000 votes to go. It's still possible it could go the other direction, but she has steadily gained votes. And that, by the way, is the canvassers. That's this actually here's a really important fun fact. The change we're seeing here is the difference between digital and print campaigns and on the ground activist campaigns. Digital and print campaigns maximize their vote total as fast as possible, while activist campaigns are out literally knocking on doors on election day to increase turnout.
So the minute the polls close, they are. Yeah.
Right, yeah. They're out there doing the thing. So they're getting as many people in this as they can in the late ballot. They're calling people. They're just reminding people. Like, you guys have no idea how much 2/3 of voting, helping with elections is telling people to vote on election day. Like, people just...
Even, you can't get there? Okay, I'll pick you up. I'll give you a ride. I'll be right there.
Yeah, it goes pretty far, actually. It's very, very effective. So, and this is why I feel like we could see more activists. But I think Tahisha Way is costing Tom Malinowski this election, to be honest with you. When we talk about like vote totals and whatever, she lost 0.1%, but she's still up 0.7%. Oh, because Tahisha Way gained 0.1%.
So she's an AIPAC pushed candidate.
That's what Biff was saying. I don't actually know off the top of my head. I don't want to label. I'm gonna put it on him if he got it wrong, but he's usually pretty good.
Yes, within the past couple of weeks, 2.3 million they spent on her.
Well, it's paying off, and I wonder if their guy is to beat Tom Malinowski to try to get the Republican to win. Like split the vote, so that way, like, people are mad, like, oh well, my candidate didn't win, so we'll get behind this thing. But then again, I don't know. I don't think we need another milquetoast white dude. It's just, we don't need it.
No.
We got plenty of those in Congress.
They've caused us enough problems already.
Yeah. It's other people's turn to cause problems. Let them have a turn. No, it's true though. It's true. There's too much, like, because you know what it is. I don't want a bunch of guys that are all chest deep in the stock market. You know what I mean? I don't want the whole thing is like the stock market. I understand that it's all of what it is and why, but like it should work. I get it. I used to think the stock market shouldn't exist. I'm such a anti-capitalist in that way. Like, I just think the whole thing, like the way quarterly returns and profits have basically destroyed the country, and the idea that everything has to be for profit. That's all because of the stock market. But at the end of the day, I just don't want somebody whose priority is the stock market, because then they make decisions based on their stock interest. So like this guy was literally being investigated by the House Ethics Committee because he was doing stuff with his stocks, and that's why he wants to be here, because he made a bunch of money insider trading. And I just want that. I don't know that you should ban Congress people from holding stocks. I think so. It's complicated. Like, I think they should be banned from holding stock relative to the houses, the seats that they sit on. Like, you shouldn't be able to hold stocks relevant to the stuff you're doing. But if you held stocks in general, I don't think people should be told they can't hold stocks. I feel like that's the wrong way to pitch it, because it becomes a freedom of speech issue. Because money is freedom of speech. It's fucking stupid, but here we are. Here we are.
Yeah, I don't know. I want them to choose, like, make a moral decision. Who do you guys represent?
Well, I don't think the president should own, and maybe senators shouldn't. But I mean, like, Congress people, it's just, it's like,
I'd be up for even giving them more money.
Oh boy.
And taking their stock.
The thing that made me so, speaking of giving Congress more money, the thing that made me so angry recently when all this food stamp talk was the amount of money that they get as a food stipend every day. Like, they get a daily food stipend as a congressperson that is like, I gotta break it up. It's like $70 or something like that. Yeah, but when you compare it to how much people get,
food stamps?
Yeah, exactly. When you compare it, it's like shocking. $79 while in Washington.
Really?
Yeah, they get
$79 like walking around money?
It's a maximum allowable reimbursement for meals and incidentals per day.
Per diem.
when you're in this. So you can go to wherever you get reimbursements from, and you can put in for $79 every day. So it's not like they give it to you every day in like an envelope, but you go and get it when you need it. Apparently, that looks like how it's set up. It's a lot different doing this call when I'm at my computer. That you can like hear me type, which is probably obnoxious, but it's a lot different. I'm like, it's that thing, whatever it was beforehand. Now we're like, let's get the answer. Let's get the actual answer. It's a lot better. I hope you also approve.
Look it up.
Right. I just hope everyone appreciates the smoothness of my indoor mic as opposed to my phone mic. I heard myself talk. Because, Jesse, remember when you first started doing the calls and I was like, I can't stand listening to the sound of my voice. And I was like, it took me forever to listen to things. And now I was listening to the call the other day. And I was like, it sounds pretty good. It sounds all right. Kind of into it.
So it looks like Decision Desk HQ is got rid of their projection now for Malinowski.
Somebody's eating their hat
Oh, my goodness.
over at the
my
HQ.
Goodness.
What is it? Decision Desk?
Decision
Yeah.
Decision HQ.
Decision.
Yeah, Decision Desk HQ.
Yeah.
I noticed after they made their projection on Twitter, they were posting updates on the race like every 15 minutes, and then like an hour ago they just stopped posting them.
They're like, oh no. Well, I mean, and also it's interesting seeing Tahisha pull in these late votes, because those votes, well, I don't know, here's the thing. She probably ran the same sort of call bank sort of thing, calling people in for late voting too. And she's putting out a good, like, all things considered, 10,000 votes is no joke in what we're going to look at, like maybe 18,000 vote race. Whoever gets to 18,000 is probably going to win. But it's interesting seeing how, and this is just, I think the most dangerous thing we have going on right now is not Trump. I think it's people who speak to people who vote left in any capacity and telling them elections don't matter. Like, I keep seeing these talking points of like, oh, the only time to fix this was the 2024 election. And you're like, what does that mean? What are you saying? Are you saying that we can't do anything about this? Are you saying, is that why? Like, if elections didn't matter, why would Steve Bannon be talking about ICE at the elections?
Mm-hmm.
Why would they be talking about why would Trump be like, oh, we should federalize elections if it didn't matter? Why are they spending millions and millions of dollars? Like what I just read on that AIPAC has $95 million ready to go for midterms. Do you think that's because elections don't matter? Asking for a friend or a country in this case. It's like,
I think people are so turned off by the establishment Democrats and what they've done over the years that they get that attitude about about elections. But it's like,
primaries exist.
Yeah, we can get rid of them one by one if we really work at it.
Yeah. The senators are tough. Senators are really hard to get rid of. Like,
right.
It's super hard. Statewide races, there's a familiarity to it. It's super, super hard. There's no way around it. You also have the government intelligence issue. A lot of senators are more involved with intelligence than congressional people are.
Right.
So you're
but
like,
all these issues are exposing them right now too, which is great. Like, exposing Schumer for being God.
Did you see the 10 points for ICE to follow the law so they can get funding? It's still like, so all they have to do to shoot civilians is say, well, I was afraid they were going to leave. And you were like, you told them to leave while you held a gun in their face. And you're like, yeah, we were very afraid they were going to leave. It's like, they have to show their faces? Are you kidding me? Like, yeah, they should have to show their faces, obviously. But that's like, okay, so they'll just show their faces. That's like the Nazis. The Nazis showed their faces while they did all their horrible shit.
The original 3-point plan sucked, and then it's like did he like go talk to the Baileys and find out, like, throw some caveats in and all these little extra pieces?
If you didn't know how much bullshit Chuck Schumer is, just for the record, he has a fake family that I had to learn about from Jesse here called the Baileys. Now, I've heard him talk about the Baileys. I had no idea it was a fake family until you told me, like, last year. I had no idea.
I looked them up more this week. And their names are actually Elaine and Joe Bailey.
No.
Yes, they have.
Do they have kids and a pet too?
I believe they have kids.
By now, they should be like growing up and going to college. They should be like grandparents. They should have like grandkids. Is this like his Sims family or something? Like, what is with this? It is so weird.
Well, you want to be shocked?
No.
The Baileys wasn't their original name.
No.
They started out as the O'Reillys. And he changed their name to the Baileys because he thought it would relate to more people across the country. Now, I don't know what that means. But this is what I've come up with.
You're too Irish.
Right.
I thought the lie would carry better this way, so we changed the name of the family.
He has
Like,
such, it's incredible.
oh,
He wrote a whole book about these people.
really? My goodness.
Yeah, I forget what it's called now, but yes, he wrote a book with these people, and the Joe Bailey always sings the national anthem at the game, and like all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of backstory to the Baileys. Anyway, sorry.
It's called Winning Back the Middle Class Majority One Family at a Time.
For every, what was the other thing he said? For every,
oh, in Pennsylvania. Oh boy, I know exactly what you're going to say. He said one word, and I knew what he was saying. For every voter we lose in metropolitan Pennsylvania, we gain like 10 voters in rural Pennsylvania, or
something.
Or maybe it was the opposite. But maybe it was rural to. It was the dumbest thing that is ever. Okay, so if you don't understand Philadelphia politics or Pennsylvania politics, the states there or cities there's only 2 big cities that pull a lot of votes, and they do. But the rest of the state pulls more, like the rural Pennsylvania. That's why we have so many policies that are like kind of don't make a lot of sense in like big cities because they're trying to speak to rural Pennsylvanians. And the reason that Kamala lost so badly was because of Palestine, the city, not the country. It was because of the country, but as well, but because of the Palestine train wreck.
East Palestine.
East Palestine, thank you. Where they blew up the train, and that entire smoke thing went over rural Pennsylvania and poisoned all those people. So that cloud went all the way to Canada through Pennsylvania. And so once that happened, it was kind of like why those people would never vote for Hillary Clinton. They would never vote for Hillary Clinton because of the entire Rust Belt, because of NAFTA. Because NAFTA took all the jobs, and so they would never vote for another Clinton ever again. And so that was something we were trying to explain to everybody that like nobody really understood in the 2016 primaries, that the people in these regions don't trust Clintons because they took their lives away, more or less, by removing manufacturing jobs and switching them over to Mexico, mostly Mexico in this case, but some went to Canada. And so we lost all these manufacturing positions, and that's why they were never going to vote for them again. And then the same thing happened again, where they basically, smoked all these people out and then told them, like, it's your problem. And like, okay, well, they're going to be super against you. And Trump might be a liar, and we know he's a liar, but he did promise a lot of change and a lot of things. And I think it really goes to show also the power of a change candidate, because things are so bad in America because of modern capitalism, which turns out is all caused by Jeffrey Epstein. Just see where we are. We're reconnected. Sorry, if you're on Twitter, you're going to have to you're clicking on a new video. But you can go to our YouTube and see it all in one piece. So there's that. 39 minutes. And you want to say that one more time? Who is talking? We're having a connection issue. Oh, Terry, we're having a connection issue. Just give me 1 second. You're coming in totally warbled. So we are, if you're picking up in the second video, we're watching the New York House primary special results for 2026 on District 11. We've been watching Anna, I'm going to mess her name up again.
Anna Lelia, and it's New Jersey.
And in Mejia, in New Jersey. Thank you. Did I say New Jersey?
You said New York. And Anna Lelia Mejia, New Jersey 11.
Mejia, okay. She is pulling ahead slowly over Tom Malinowski. Where now she's about 500 votes over. We've been watching people even who had claimed the race for Malinowski was going to win. They've had to take those down. It's going to be super, super tight. And I feel like this is exactly the win that we need going into midterms right now, because we needed something to show that if you do the work and you knock on the doors, and you connect with your people, then you can win elections. Now, technically, she has not won this election yet. I've seen the lights turn off and come back, and the elections results are changed. I've seen all kinds of things happen. But I think in this one, we're very, very close. There's another 6,500 votes to count. Last update was at 10:38, so that was 7 minutes ago. That's Eastern. We were on Pacific time on this call, except for a couple of us who are Eastern. We used to have we had a former native from Morris actually on this on this call apparently, but we're not sure about the politics just yet. But it does seem like, on that note, the politics, I think, around the country is shifting more than ever. I feel like what people want is really changing. And even when we talk about this idea, because we left off, if you're pulling up on Twitter to listen to the second call, and the first call before it got disrupted for a second, we were talking about how people will always vote for the change candidate. And I feel like what people view as change has changed. You know what I mean? I feel like it's no longer like voting for the Democrat over the Republican is enough. Now it's like we need progressive policies in order to really make a difference. And I feel like that's what we're seeing here. She's running on all the things. They're connected people. She's pulling ahead late in the election thing. So we just need to make sure this is hopefully, I feel like she needs to get within 1 percentage point to have it called. Like, if it's 28.7 to 28%, and I feel like she needs to be at 1 percentage point ahead, and it's over.
That would be great.
Yeah, that would be great. We could really.
I found the Chuck Schumer quote is for every blue collar Democrat we lose in Western Pennsylvania,
Right.
we'll pick up 2 moderate
Well, that's-
Republicans in the suburbs of Philadelphia. He said that in 2016.
Yeah, that's a famous quote.
Why would you want to abandon rural voters who make up most of the state for moderate Republicans? Like that, this idea in a world where MAGA exists that moderate Republicans are a thing is, I don't understand it.
Stupid.
Yeah, I don't understand it, because even now, Jesse,
Yeah.
you got something on that?
I was gonna say I think he thinks, or maybe it's just his belief that like
The Baileys
that-
told him.
Yeah, well, the Baileys are moderates,
Right.
and it's like, and that's what he thinks moderates are people in the middle of the Democrats and Republicans, and the material issues never really enter his like vision. of
Wait,
things.
it's not the 20th century anymore, Chuck.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't
He
know
does
if he was
the-
He's
ever
so
right, though.
behind the times.
I don't think
Sorry.
he was ever right. We're all talking to each other. I don't think he was ever right. I feel like he's sent in with this message to normalize this fake family, because he creates a fake family that sells the message that he wants sold. And so it's not really about what this family wants. It's a fake family, but most people aren't going to know that unless you read his book.
Yeah.
I didn't know it. Like we were talking about. Jesse told me this last year. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I've heard him talk about the Baileys so many times, and I had no idea they're just some, random idea that he created.
You did see that clip of him the other day when he was talking about he's always going to fund Israel.
Who said that? Oh,
Chuck
yeah,
Schumer.
yeah. His job is to make sure that Americans stay pro-Israel. And I'm like, I'm 100% sure that is not your job.
Yeah, and like you never see that guy that animated. Like he was so animated to just very excited
He
to
wrote a
look.
whole book about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Oh yeah. Yes, just recently.
another book.
Right.
Another book. Great.
Another one.
I know what he's doing with his free time. He's not like trying to like legislate or anything. He's just like, let's write another book. Okay, he
In
did.
between my sternly worded letters.
We got a little bit of a change here, but I don't think it's anything significant. We're down to 6,500 votes. With the way I think Tahisha is pulling
Too
in a
close
lot of
to
votes.
call, sis.
It is too.
Nothing actually changed, but they listed it too close to call. Maybe some of the other candidates picked up some.
Okay. It is too close to call right now. But it's pretty freaking close. This is usually when like they're like, oh, it hit our closing time, and we'll tell you the results in the morning. And that's when things get shady in elections, just for the record, in case you didn't know. They go, oh yeah, we'll figure it out. Oh, it turns out she lost by 4 votes. My bad. And you're
Oh,
like,
darn.
I know. Oops. And then they'll do a recount and she'll win by like 1,000 votes. And you're like, what the hell? So.
Or if this is a Republican election, this would be where Trump would be like making a call. You need to find me some votes in district. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God. I do wonder what's going to come from that Georgia ballot thing when they went to Georgia and took all those ballots to try to like count them. This is why you're supposed to keep a paper trail of ballots. And they're just trying to make it look like every election is illegal and everyone is wrong, and they it's such a like weird thing. And then you got these right-wing bots just being like, well, the everyone's illegal and they're all this and everything's that, and you're just like, how are these guys repeating these talking points so quickly? And you're just like, it just feels like we're just at this point where nothing on these right-wingers on Twitter and stuff like that, like I don't even think these are real people anymore. Like it just feels like it's just like Steve Bannon paid for a bunch of bots or something. Like it just feels like, how could people really think this stuff? But I guess they do. Some of them have to be real. I don't know.
Yep. This is a nail biter.
It is a nail biter, yeah.
Election.
Yeah, the election is. Hopefully we get real results this evening. Hopefully they only have... I mean, you would think after counting all of these votes, 90% of the vote, they could count the last 6,500.
Yeah. What's it, 11 o'clock there? Come on, guys, keep counting.
It's 10. last update, it's 10:52. Yeah, it's almost 11. They usually go till midnight. Most states go till at least midnight, if not later, and they should have them all counted by now. But I feel like this goes to show, and this is what we were talking about on the call, because we're kind of just going on about this election. It goes to show, first off, the most important thing that people remember is that voting does count. And if voting didn't matter, why would they spend all this money trying to talk you out of voting? Why does AIPAC have $100 million to spend on elections for midterms? Why is Steve Bannon saying ICE is now? Why is Trump saying we should federal? Because elections matter. What you say counts. What you do matters. And so it comes into this sort of like thinking that vote, because even in this election, right, let's say they rig whatever so that she doesn't win. Let's say they flip it around at the second. She just needed more voters. Like if she was a point ahead right now or 2 points ahead right now, and there was this gap and there was this many votes, it would be easier to call her as a victory tonight instead of allowing it to go into the next day where maybe there's something shady might happen. And you might be like, oh, Don, you sound like Trump talking about elections being rigged. No, how elections are counted is a problem every election cycle. There's always a problem somewhere. And we won a lawsuit over this being handled incorrectly. So it's not like, not we, Organized Better Tomorrow, but like I was involved with the lawsuit a long time ago for the 2016 election about how stuff was counted improperly, and we won that lawsuit. So like this is a thing that does happen, but it's just a matter of like, if you're a progressive trying to get a progressive in and you're trying to get policies, that person has to win by a decent margin, a point or two at least. And so like her only being 0.7 in the lead is enough for them to finagle some sort of shenanigans when there's still 6,500 votes to count. So if she had another 500 votes, which is essentially just more calling people calling, more volunteers, more of the stuff, then we would be calling this race much, much earlier. So like elections really matter, and it's true they're not fair for all sides, and primaries especially can be unfair. So it's really important that you give as much as you can into these things, because it does make a difference. And people always say, no, it doesn't matter. The people that do that are either Republicans or third-party trolls, and they don't want Democrats. See, what people don't understand about people who are in third parties, they believe that the need for their existence is based on whether or not Democrats are successful. If Democrats are not successful, then they can come in and argue that there is a need for what they do, for a third party. But if the Democrats are successful, then there's no reason for it. So there's no benefit for that. So they're always trying to like take candidates, and if you're like progressive, they're trying to like lure them over to like work with them instead of trying to challenge the establishment. But power happens in the two-party system. So that's it. That's the end of the conversation. Power happens in the two-party system, and it has to do with how Congress distributes power. This is something that I think people just do not understand, and they should understand it, that basically the Congress does not have a third group to distribute power to. If you want to, even if you elected a third party, which we have independents in the Senate, I don't think we have any in Congress right now, you still have to sign up to be in one of those groups.
You have to caucus.
Yeah, thank you. You have to join one of the caucuses, because there's no there's no leadership seats. There's no, you can't get a voice. You can't, like, the only thing you have at that point is your single vote, and you still have to choose to caucus with somebody. So, it, like, real power happens in, like, committees and all this sort of stuff. So people need to be in one of those caucuses to get in those committees. That's why people always think, oh, Bernie Sanders is such a sellout. It's like, because we didn't support him enough. We didn't get enough people to support him. He has to make sacrifices in order to stay in a position of power. And you'd be like, it's not all about power. Yes, it fucking is all about power if you're in Congress. That's literally the point of Congress, is to distribute power. So people are like, it's not all about power, Don. You're like, it is literally only about power. Because if you want the power to change things, or to get Medicare for all, or to get all these things that we would talk about trying to do, just anything that changes anything for the better of the people, you have to have power to do it. And I'll tell you what, these rich jerks who are screwing everyone over sure as hell understand it. So I don't understand why. Oh, right, because the public is fed tons of propaganda telling them it doesn't matter from anonymous accounts on social media. Like, that's why. People get talked out of helping, and then they don't help. And then that comes from a combination of these anonymous accounts or like third-party trolls. And that's it. Now, I'm not saying you should vote blue no matter who. I'm not a big fan of that idea. I will be this November, though. I'll be honest. I want to do as good in the primaries as we can. But this November, I'm like, this is not the year to be like, I don't know what the right thing to do is. We know what the right thing to do is. We have to stop the Republicans. Either you're for the Republican policies of Trumpville, whatever the hell this is, in Pedo Island, or you're against it. There's no, not this year. Every other year I've been on the, well, do what you want, what you think is best. And this year I'm like, no. This is not a year for individual thinking, unfortunately. This is just.
Although if they win this time and they pull this off, they have to do accountability. That we cannot have another. We cannot go through this again with just turning the other way and looking forward and not back.
Well, that's the thing. I think primaries. These primaries are going to be super, super important. But I think the primaries, the next ones, which are during the presidential election, are going to be just as important. And I think all the primaries from this point forward are going to be slowly removing these people one at a time. And hopefully it's not one at a time, because there are like 457 seats or whatever. So you have to remove 213 people, or something like that. 218 to get 218 is the majority right now, I believe. So it's you would need to have remove 150 people, and they'll change as you start removing them. That's the other thing. As you start changing policy and people get afraid of being removed, they will change their stances on things. It's just you have to have enough people power. And I really appreciate Bernie was out the other day saying, they have all the money, but we have all the people. And there's something really to say about that, because it's something we've said. I mean, it's why I do the People Strategist. It's not just like a hardcore socialist take. But I guess it is technically. I mean, I don't really think about it in that context, but it is. But it is because you're, trying to make decisions knowing that we have this huge majority. It's just that, a third of people are convinced not to vote. They're convinced that voting doesn't matter. So.
Yeah. How many people voted in this? Do we know how many people voted in this New Jersey 11 district?
We got 34, 44, 54, 56, 58, 59, 60, about 62,000 people so far.
So this is a district of 800,000 people I saw. And
wow.
I mean, not, some of those are kids and people who vote, but still, people don't vote.
Right. Yeah. 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 Oh, especially in primaries. And this is the thing. Like when AOC won her race against the number 2 or 4 Democrat, depending on who you asked. Technically, he was the number 4 Democrat, but I told everyone he was the number 2 Democrat. Well, he was poised to take over for Nancy Pelosi. He was the guy who was supposed to take over leadership of the House when Nancy left. Like that was kind of like the soft plan. And so removing him was like removing the follow-up. That's when people are like, oh, she's just going to be the next Nancy Pelosi, kind of became a talking point where, like, first off, that really depends on how you look at the situation, if that's a good or a bad thing. And second off, you're like, well, yeah, because we removed the guy that was going to replace her was in her seat. So it's such a weird, the way it connects. I'm really nervous that election results have completely stalled. We were getting consistent results.
Like it.
I don't like this at all. We were getting consistent results every 15 minutes, and we haven't gotten one. Well, I guess it's only been 13 minutes, so maybe my 15-minute comment might have been getting a little ahead of myself. I need to grab a water real fast. Hang on a second.
But every 13 minutes feels like eternity when they put that "too close to call" label up on the screen.
Well, it's real important in all this stuff not to get ahead of yourself, because it's shenanigans are afoot. But hopefully, we get results here that are going to change in any minute now. And as long as those results continue to come in to look, it's 96-97%, she holds her lead. Because it will be if they keep coming in and she keeps gaining, then they will call it eventually in her behalf. But it really needs to get called, and this is really important. I said this earlier in the call, but it's really important that you put in enough effort that the elections get called as much as possible night of. If you're concerned about election security or election whatever, you don't want to go to sleep with elections being uncertain. It also costs a lot of money to get people out to the right places, so you kind of turn off your volunteers the second the election's finished, and then you have to restart them all to be oh my god, we have to cure ballots and do all that sort of stuff. I had to do that in Florida for a race we ultimately lost. We did cure a lot of ballots though. It's and that's another thing that's interesting is how many ballots are broken on election day, and there's which means it can't be counted for whatever reason. And so you have to cure the ballot, which means you have to contact that person and sometimes get affidavits or you have to do all kinds of things that are really complicated hoops to jump through to get those votes counted. It's not fun. It's the other thing. So
yeah, you want it to be decisive.
Yeah, it really needs to be decisive. That was what I was saying about AOC winning. Sorry, thanks for bringing me back around to that. When AOC won, she had a decisive victory. She won by 4,000 votes night of. So it was she clearly beat him. And then I believe he still didn't give up, though. It took a while to get him out of the race. Because he was going to run on the Working Family Party line, which Working Families Party is not a party, if you don't know. They're supporting... But they are a party, too, so they could be a party if they, chose to. There's been some talk that they were going to be more of a, oh, God. Update says the too close to call thing at 11:02. You're just that's not helpful. That's not helpful at all. Let's get those last 6,500 counts. It's not too close to call. She's probably going to win if everything continues to be on the up and up.
That's a big if.
Mm-hmm. Well, it says it updated at 11:02, but that was that guy's election blog. Anyway,
Only approximately 500 vote difference ish.
Yeah, but because she's been steadily gaining on him for the last 20% of the vote, the odds are it's going to continue to be like that. So it's very unlikely for him to pull in a ton of late votes in order to get ahead of her by 500. She's going to pull in an equal amount of votes or more, so he can't gain. So there's really no chance of him coming back from this on the basis of how this. And that sounds weird, but that's kind of how elections work. It has to do with the law of large numbers. I had someone explain it to me when I was on the road in 2016. I'm still I basically get it's so basically if you align all election data from largest to smallest, it creates a straight line or something, and then if you can see if elections are screwy, because it'll like curve up, and the largest numbers will get larger than the lower numbers, so they should stay relative to each other, basically. And so as these results are coming in the way they're coming in, they should continue coming in like this. So you usually can say, like, he's not going to be able to pull ahead the 500 votes, especially when there's so many candidates in the race, because a lot of these candidates are going to pull in. Like, we're seeing Tahisha Wei, who's actually winning a county. She's pulling in more and more of the votes that Tom Malinowski would need in order to win. Like, if he was pulling in Tahisha's laced votes, he would be getting ahead. So it's I did a lot of this for a long time. The greatest time. It was I feel like whenever you do a Trump impression now, at the very end of it, there should just be like a really wet, loud fart noise.
Oh.
Like, I had to watch. There was that video going around where they were saying,
Yeah.
Trump shit himself in front of everyone. I had to watch that video more times than I wanted to count to actually see the motions that everyone was making, and they definitely were making. The one woman tried to cover her nose and stopped herself, and then RFK Jr. looks at him like, "Oh fuck, he did it again." Like, that's the look is such like he just looks down at him for 1 second, like his little kid took a shit on him, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, that happened." And then they all have to like keep a straight face, and he's like, "Everyone needs to leave now."
Yeah, the body language was kind of like it did look kind of like that.
And they're just cooking in it. They're just sitting there cooking in it. Gotta smile for the camera. Take deep breaths. Hey, I want to see that smile.
Even Trump, he was like, "Okay, all right, we're done." Like
Yeah.
the way he kind of shooed people off.
He's like, oh yeah, that's gonna make it around the room. It's gross. That was one of the things in the Epstein files that was kind of surprising, where they were talking about Trump coming to the island, and they needed to make sure that they had enough diapers for him while he was there.
Oh, God.
That was one of them that I was like, well, there it is. Because I've always been like, people say awful things about all kinds of, like, they say Washington had wooden teeth, when in reality the story is much worse. He had slave teeth. It's horrible, horrifying. But they said he had wooden teeth. It's just one of the things they always said. Napoleon was very short. He's actually kind of normal size. He wasn't like a huge guy, but he was like normally sized. So it was like, it's just kind of like hearing people say awful things about each other behind, to do whatever is so typical. But yeah, I see Tahisha gaining votes. Am I crazy? Am I losing it over here? Because it's just updated a minute ago. It's updating every, I think, 5 minutes.
I don't know, because that's 6,500 remaining hasn't really moved.
Yeah, I thought I saw. I don't know. Anyways, no, nothing's moving. I want to see this. I want to see these numbers change. But I feel like the thing that everyone's concerned about is ICE at the election right now at the polling places, and I want everybody to do a little bit of math with me. Okay, so it's February 5th. Okay, elections are in November. Right now, ICE people are not getting paid. I don't know if you guys have seen the.
I have seen that, and they're not getting the insurance they were promised either.
Right, and the signing bonus is 5 years, which last I checked, there's a 0% chance Trump is president in that amount of time. Like, there's no way. And get this, if they leave at any point, and I believe include being fired, they owe that money back.
Yeah.
So if they don't stay the full 5 years and they take part of that signing bonus and then decide to leave, even if they're fired, they owe that money back to the government. Which owing money back to the government is the most insane shit that's ever existed. But so
that's the $50,000.
Yeah, that's the $50,000. But it's not really $50,000 too, because it's taxed really hard, and they put it on their actual paycheck. It's not a separate paycheck, so that paycheck also gets taxed really hard. Because you're like, it's all awry. It's not what you want at all if you were trying to like get money out of this situation. So it's a wild thing. But here's the thing. Let's do some numbers. So there are going to be fewer ICE agents by then, but there are how many polling locations are there? How many? Let's see. How many? I actually don't know. I think there's 6,000 a couple of times, but that's like counties, right? I think. So hang on a second. How many polling locations are in America? Because I think it changes every year a little bit. So there were 10,000 fewer polling places in 2024. 100,000. So you're talking about. Hang on. Let's see. You're talking about. Oh, that's what I need right now. I need an ad that is unclickable and I can't close that. Thank you. Super helpful. So this says there are 200,000 polling places in use in 2028, and then there were 132. So you're looking at 100,000 polling locations, roughly. Okay, so you're 100,000 polling locations, and you have 20,000 ICE, right? So you could maybe stick 2 to 3 ICE people at each polling location, and you would only be able to cover a few, right? And then there's this threat of arresting people, but we've seen ICE arrest people. It takes all 3 to 5 of them to arrest a single person, and then that person they have to then take somewhere. So, and then, like, what are they gonna have, like, buses that they're just gonna, like, oh, you turn right to vote, you turn left to get in the ICE van, like bus. Like, in order to have enough manpower to get anywhere near what they want to try to do, they would need like 3 to 500,000 people working for ICE. And I think where they really screwed up, and I feel like this is kind of telling them, but I think it's too late for them to do that, is that what they really screwed up was with their use of the National Guard, because they've taken the National Guard.
Don't tell the secret.
It's too late.
Don't give them any ideas.
No, it's too late because the court orders already exist that they're not allowed to deploy the National Guard in these blue states, right? So the only way they could have had enough people is if they had been really quiet about it, and then rolled out the National Guard like the week of the election, with like secret orders that could never leak on the internet. But because those have been made illegal, they don't have the ability to do that anymore. And that was the manpower they needed, because you can't deploy the military in America. That's pretty explicit. You can deploy National Guard and a couple of things in some conditions, but you have to prove those conditions, and you can't prove those conditions in one day. And they haven't been able to prove those conditions, because I don't know if you guys saw what happened in LA with ICE, but that was like a riot, because LA riots. I don't know if you know that. But did you guys see any of the video of what happened, came out of LA? With
I
ICE?
didn't.
Okay, so they had all of these ICE guys, like 100 of them, pinned into a parking garage, and then every time they would open a side door to try to get access to the crowd, like hit them from the side, the doors would get like body slammed shut by people. Like, they took a giant dumpster, they turned it sideways, like we're talking a big ass dumpster, like they did it with just their hands. They turned it sideways and filled it with fire and lit the whole thing on fire in front of them, and then held a punk concert across the street.
A what concert?
A punk concert.
Oh, punk concert.
Street. They set up a sound system and a mosh pit. Yeah. It's. So, first off, I've lived in Los Angeles my whole life. It was the most Los Angeles thing I'd ever seen. It's the most Los Angeles thing I'd ever seen. It was an impromptu rock concert or punk concert set up next to a burning trash can at a federal building where they were keeping all of the people inside. Hang on one second.
Wow. I did not see that.
Oh, it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, I don't really, call for violence, but like if we're going to talk about, these people. Here's the thing. They're like, oh, you need peaceful protesting. Well, you need peaceful ICE. Like, there's this idea called the social contract, and if the social contract's not followed, like, then what is happening is warranted. It's inappropriate. It's actually kind of part of the Second Amendment in a weird sort of way, because it's like we're allowed to have weapons to match whatever the government is doing, because whatever the government is doing, we're allowed to do to the government. That's like how it's worded, more or less. So it's like, so what these people are doing is like well within their constitutional rights as Americans, because their rights are being violated. So the social contract is broken. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So so it's a real shame. It's a real shame. I think that's part of why they're sending 7,000 or dropping the whatever 1,000 ICE or 700 ICE agents in Minnesota, and they're going to send them to Los Angeles. Pretty sure.
Oh, you think?
Mhm.
You think that's what they're going to send next?
Mm-hmm. I don't think they wanted to say that because it would admit that they're needed there. But like 700 is still a drop in the bucket for Los Angeles. Like people really don't understand how big Los Angeles is.
And also, there's still how many thousand still there? Like that's not like they're getting rid of all the ICE agents.
I think they cut from 4,000 to 3,300, something like that.
Okay.
I think that was.
So it's not like they're gone from Minneapolis.
No. And this is something that people in Minneapolis really want everyone to know. Like the harassment and the trouble isn't going away. How these elections? 91.3. Oh, we got a little bit. We got 500. 91.3%. She is holding on to her just under 500 vote lead. 480 or whatever. Let's see what moved.
Yeah, I can't see what moved.
I just don't think they're coming in for her. I think they're coming in for the lower candidates. Like all the under, like Tahisha has been pulling. I feel like I've seen her count move a couple of times. Like her gap in Passaic got a little bigger. Maybe. I'm not sure. But I see it when it's down to 5,000 votes and he hasn't been able to take the lead. They should be calling it. Because it's just not likely for him to pull in the end of it. We'll see. Fingers crossed on this one. And that's sort of the tension of election day. We have all these elections going on at once, and that's when you have like the most opportunity for sort of issues with counts. And you only have like issues and counts like 1 or 2 elections at a time. It's usually not like all of them are awry, because that's how they're all handled. And this is back to the federalizing, like why you can't federalize elections. Congress is because it's set up by the state. It's set up in the Constitution explicitly to be run by the states, so that you cannot federalize federal elections, which sounds weird. Which actually, this was actually the big thing that I thought, and maybe this will resonate with you guys, but I felt like this was the big moment that I was like, these guys have not thought this through at all. They have not thought this through whatsoever. When they suddenly decided that elections should be federalized, when that's first off not something you can do, they didn't know that, and
That's the first time they've said things that it's not possible to do. They just run their mouth and don't know how things actually work.
Right. They've been using a lot. Actually, that's true. It's been a lot of brute force tactics. And the thing is that you need manpower for brute force tactics, and you have to pay your brute forcers, enforcers, I guess, in this case. And so if you're not paying them, it's not going to happen. And that's sort of the whole thing with where this all comes down to. It's like when you have a capitalist system, they're trying to like run their fascist empire like a bunch of communists. Like, we don't need to pay you. The joy of doing it is enough. Which is sort of very real. I'm not talking enough about corporate communism as a concept. When you're like, that's not a thing. Oh boy. But it is. Where they're all in it for each other at the cost of everybody else. So but it just comes down to this idea that like they need manpower to enforce the things they want to do, and if they don't have enforcement, they can't enforce it. So there's like the chances of them not getting completely wiped out, I think, is very small. Also, did you see they're talking about? Okay, fun fact: Supreme Court ruled with California on the gerrymandering issue. Yeah. So the thing is it is legal. Partisan gerrymandering is legal. Partisan gerrymandering is legal. Racial gerrymandering is illegal.
It's not.
Right. Is illegal. Racial gerrymandering is illegal. Partisan gerrymandering is not illegal. So they basically gave the green light for all the blue states to do partisan gerrymandering, which I think is fantastic. Should happen a long time ago. Like, I feel like so much of the balance in our country has been designed in a way that no party can really hold enough power to change anything, because then you can't be held accountable. The only time we've ever had it is when Obama was elected, and then we immediately lost.
Blew it.
What's that?
We immediately blew it.
Yeah, I can't call a brain tumor in Ted Kennedy blowing it, but I feel like we didn't act fast enough.
Oh, yeah.
Because Ted Kennedy got a brain tumor and died. But then where we blew it was that they didn't get involved with the special election to run a seat, because Biden told Obama that he felt like all the black stuff was going to be a problem in the race, which that was racist and stupid, but that's actually was the conversation at the time. And so I was so mad. I was so mad. I was so disillusioned from politics for like 3 or 4 years.
For the Ted Kennedy election you're talking about?
For the Ted Kennedy special election to replace his
When
seat after he got a brain tumor, Biden told Obama to not get involved with any of the special elections or midterms, because he felt like, oh yeah, I remember it. That was his advice on the whole thing: just stay out of it and let the other candidates fix it. And then Republicans swept everything.
And Scott Brown, I think, was the one who got the seat, but I don't remember the rest of the details. Yeah.
I was pretty mad. And then we lost. We didn't call it Medicare for All. Then we lost the public option by one vote in committee, and then Obama didn't fight for it. And it was like, are you kidding me? And then that woman, who we lost the vote to, lost her seat anyways. She's kind of the Murkowski of her day. She lost her seat anyways to the Tea Party. And then the Tea Party swept in, which was a AstroTurf move from the Koch brothers. And then now it's just the Koch brother.
Right.
So, anyways, that was all the thing. I think that's also where they got a lot of the idea for the whole AstroTurf of the right-wing movement that we've had. They like, well, those are old people. What if we did it with young people? You know, that's kind of what happened. So, but I think that this is just a time where we need to really push back on the people who are saying elections don't matter and voting doesn't matter and all this sort of stuff. Even if this election goes south and they do something shady here that she doesn't win, like, it's so close, it shows that we're like within striking distance. And I feel like more than ever, the public has an appetite for it. And, you know, if you're a COVID conscious person listening to this and you're saying, well, these people aren't COVID conscious. Well, we know the people who are in power right now are even less COVID conscious and care even less about long COVID protections or helping people get better or, you know, whatever we're going to do. So, like, anything we do will bring us closer to solutions for people who are struggling with long COVID and ME/CFS. And we have had, like, something, I feel like, did you guys see the study about, they were saying how 50% of ME/CFS people had Bartonella, I believe it was?
I did see that, yeah. Interesting.
And Bartonella, now I don't...
It's a tick-borne disease.
Yeah, it's a gram-negative bacteria. It is the only genus in the family Bartonellaceae. I don't know how to say that word. But it's a zoonotic infectious disease we get from cats. It's called cat scratch fever. So I don't know that is playing a huge factor, though. When you look at, whenever you see something that's like 50% of people tested positive or something that, like, is very common in society already, but it's not making it better, that's for sure. You know, because you also see, I feel like the EBV and the herpes viruses. I think the herpes viruses are a much bigger overlap than the Bartonella, but it's still interesting to see that there's like a level of co-infection going on with people with ME/CFS, and I wonder if that might change, because we see different ME/CFS symptoms from different people that are just, it's not all the same. It's a little different, and so it's tough to say, like, oh, it's this thing or that thing. It's really like a bunch of things sort of working on top of each other, which I think at the end of the day, it comes down to we need to be... Yeah, Bartonella is also, here I'm looking at the link right here, it says it's also a Lyme disease co-infection. So...
Yeah.
So
it is tick-borne.
Right, so there's something to say that it might be making things worse in a lot of ways, and we should just have better testing and more money into, like, these things that we see, Like, I feel like the biggest thing from COVID is that COVID has, I think a lot of people look at things and try to measure COVID as equally dangerous to like common household things, right? But the truth is that we shouldn't be lowering COVID to the risk of the things we thought of these before COVID. We should be raising the risk of everything else. I still think COVID's worse, but I'm really annoyed by this measles conversation, and people are like, "Oh, measles spreads more than COVID." No, that's not true. They have almost like the RO of COVID is just below measles. People go like, "Oh, the RO of COVID is only like 2 or 3." That's not true, because you can have 100 people infected in a room with one person. Like, we've seen tons of things go just like measles, but the difference is that our measles vaccine is wildly effective, like crazy effective. And our COVID vaccines, well, okay, so we're a big Novavax grouping here, and if everyone had Novavax, I would say people are at least vaccinated, semi-properly. You know what I mean? We still need more vaccination for COVID specifically because it's that dangerous and that risky to spread. But it would go very, very far to cut transmission, and it would go very, very far to like protect people in general, especially children. But it's still not as good as you're more likely to pass COVID fully vaccinated than you are with measles. So it's just this like thing, all this fear over measles and what it can do, and it is worthy of the fear, right? But I feel like there's this thing where they're like putting measles so far above COVID risk, when in reality, when you really think about how all these things interact with each other, COVID risk is okay. It says we're reconnected now. I should be reconnected. We probably should wrap the call anyways.
Yeah.
You're back. Yeah, I'm gonna go because it is getting to be my bedtime. I will talk to y'all on Tuesday.
Thank you so much. Monday. We're here on Mondays and
Or
Thursdays.
Monday, that's right. God,
Mondays.
I'm sorry.
No, it's a great plug though, because we're here on Mondays and Thursdays, and hopefully we're gonna have hopefully this election. We're gonna keep looking at these election results. Everyone should keep looking at the election results, and hopefully this last 6,000 votes closes out and we see a progressive primary win, and I think that's what we need more than anything. If you are annoyed, you're jumping in here and you're seeing, hey, this video's been cut off, what's going on? I'm still having connection issues. I think that it's not my computer, it's actually the people I live with have similar connection drops. We're trying to work it out. We're going to figure it out. We're kind of on the internet edge, I think, is the issue. But you can also go to our YouTube. We have a YouTube under Organize Your Better Tomorrow. I believe it's just OFABT, OFABT. And you can listen to the whole show without interruptions there. Though it is nice to get the hits on Twitter, because I think people judge us when when not enough people listen. But thank you everybody for being here and being around and listening and putting up with all this. And we will be back on Monday. All right. Any final thoughts? Anybody got anything? No?
Not
Good.
for me. Have a good night.
Smart move.